Hi, my name is Heidi Larson, and I'm a big sister, and I've been together with my little sister for 4 years now. This is my husband, Steve, and he and my little sister both are deaf. And so today I want to teach you how to communicate with someone who's deaf using fingerspelling. So that means using the letters of the alphabet in order to communicate with somebody who can't hear you. So the reason why you want to learn fingerspelling is to help you communicate easier with deaf people, and it helps you when you're introducing yourself to them using your name, or also if you're trying to tell them where you're from. And once you get to learning sign a little bit further, then also it helps you to describe different things. Now, first of all, I want to talk to you about which hand you're going to fingerspell with. It's going to be different depending on which hand you write with. So if you write with your right hand, then you are going to fingerspell with your right hand. However, if you write with your left hand, you will fingerspell with your left hand. So it will actually look backwards, different than the way I'm signing it. However, you will be doing it correctly. You always want to use your dominant hand. So here we go. Let's learn the alphabet. And an important thing I want to show you about the alphabet is how it can look a lot the same as the letter that you write out on a piece of paper. So here we have the letter A. And here's the sign for the letter A. So you can see how there's a line and a circle, and here there's a line and a circle. So there's your letter A. Now on the letter B, it's a little more difficult to see, but for a B, here's your line, and here's the circle your thumb is helping to make. So that's the letter B. Now the letter C is really easy to see. It's self-evident. So there's your letter C. The letter D is actually kind of backwards. So if we did it this way, then it would line up. But somehow it's not comfortable signing it this way. So therefore we have to sign it this way. But it still has a long stem to it, and it has the circle just like the letter D has. Now E, once again, it's a little tricky to tell, but you can see there's a circle and the line. So here our thumb is just like the line, and then your fist is making the circle. So that's the letter E. Letter F, that one's a little tricky too. But if you imagine that this part is the curve of your F, and then this is the line of your F, but it actually looks a little bit more like this. So that's your letter F. Now G, it just doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to help you remember G but your memory. So here you go. Here's the letter G, and so that's it. Now the letter H, maybe a way you can remember the letter H is that there's two lines. Now it does not go up like this. However, if that helps you remember it, this is the letter H. You can't do it up like this because that's a different letter, but that might just help you remember that it's those two lines that represents, and they're on their side. So G, G, and H. The letter I, here is the letter I. So it has the straight line. So there's your letter I. Now J starts out like the letter I, but it draws in the air the letter J. So it goes exactly, if you're gonna write it in the air, it goes the same direction as that. Now the letter K, that one looks like this. It's a little tricky, but can you see how it kind of looks like the letter K? It has that straight line and then the diagonal right here. And this is what the letter K looks like. When you're signing it, this is the direction it'll go, but I'm just trying to show you what it looks like from both sides, because that one's a little tricky. Now the letter L, this one's just like C, super easy. You can see the letter L, there it is, exactly the same. Now the letter M, might seem a little tricky, but basically you see how there's the straight line and then two humps. Here you have three fingers that you're putting your thumb under, and that shows the straight line is here, and then 1, 2 humps. So this represents your straight line and then 2 humps. So what do you think the letter N looks like then? You are right if you said that you just put your thumb underneath your 2 fingers, because there's 1 hump. So this is your straight line per se, and this is the hump. So there's your letter N. Now O, I bet you can guess what the letter O looks like. You are right if you said it's this. The letter O is kind of simple. Now the K, do you remember how we did that letter K? And this is what it looks like when you're signing it. You're going to take your letter K, and for P, you're just going to put it down. It's tricky to show, but you can kind of almost see that your straight line goes here and your circle's there for the letter P, but you are going to put it this way, is the way it's signed. So, but it does look like a P when you're looking at it from my direction. So the letter Q, that one's a little tricky too, but you see how there's the straight line that goes down and the circle? Well, here, once again, if I show you, there's a circle with a straight line. But when you're signing it, it's going to go down like this, so the letter Q. Now R, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to the letter R. There's the straight line. So you can kind of use the fact that this goes straight up and down in the air, and that's the letter R for you. S, you once again have to use your imagination a little, but see how it's kind of a circle shape, and see in the middle how it kind of has that swirl. Well, here you're going to have your circle shape, and if you were to draw the letter S on your hand, it would go just like that. So this kind of represents that middle swirl that's right in the middle of the S. Okay, now the letter T, once again, it has a straight up and down line. So if you just think of that straight up and down, then this is the letter T. And U is just, it looks a lot like the letter U right here, right? Just 2 fingers show that one bump that's at the bottom. Now the letter V, I wonder if you can guess what that's going to look like. You're actually going to take your hands and pull apart your fingers, and that is the letter V. So now I bet you can't guess what W is. So here's what our letter W looks like, and here is our signed letter W. And so there, that's the way that looks. Now this is the letter X, and this once again is just one you have to learn. It's got your little index finger just is kind of crooked, and so that's your letter X. And Y, see how the 2 lines go out. You're going to go out with both fingers, your thumb and your pinky finger just go out. So that's your letter Y. And then last but not least, we have the letter Z. And the letter Z, all you have to do is make the letter Z in the air. So it's like you're just writing in the air the letter Z. So that's the alphabet. Now I want to teach you a couple of things when you're fingerspelling words, what it looks like. So I will fingerspell my name for you. So it's H-E-I-D-I. Now, tell me, which one do you think is easier to understand and read? Do you think it's H-E-I-D-I, or is it easier if I bounce every letter? Can you read when I bounce my letters? No, it's much easier when you just keep your hands still. And sometimes that's hard for people, especially when you're first trying to learn. So that's fine when you're beginning, but something you might want to do is possibly even just hold your hand to help it not bounce when you're just first learning. Also something is that instead of me saying, well, H pretty much is right here, but E, I don't face it straight out. I kind of face it in towards me so that my arm, my wrist are comfortable. The letter I doesn't look like it's straight out like this, or D, but they kind of face in. So that's something important to know too. If you have a double letter in your name, like somebody's name might be Haley, so H-A-L-L. So you see how I just bounced the letter. So that's the one time it's okay for you to bounce, is if you have a letter that's the same letter twice in a row. That just helps you to see that that letter is there. So just start practicing, and eventually you'll develop a flow between your letters, and have fun practicing. It was great to get to know you guys, and I hope you enjoy learning your fingerspelling. You take care. Be safe.